Well, I am mindful of the other senators' time. I'm also mindful that this committee spends a ton of time on things like amnesty and not time on doing our jobs. So this committee doesn't have time to look into allegations of racism, doesn't have time to look into allegations of participating in Chinese communist propaganda, doesn't have time to look into the Biden administration releasing thousands of illegal aliens with COVID.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to America Wake. I'm Wilson. You just watched a pretty tense moment from a Senate committee hearing, and one thing immediately stood out to me. Senator Ted Cruz was not interested in business as usual. While the committee seemed focused on moving the nomination forward, Ted Cruz was focused on something else: accountability. Ted Cruz argued that serious concerns were being overlooked while the committee rushed ahead with a judicial nomination. Now, whether you agree with Ted Cruz or not, I think it's fair to say that confirmation hearings should involve tough questions. Federal judges hold enormous power, and senators have a duty to thoroughly examine the people they are asked to confirm. After watching the full video, I have some thoughts on what Ted Cruz was really trying to accomplish, and why this exchange matters far beyond a single nominee. Before we jump in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to America Wake, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest political coverage and reactions. Let's get into it.
Ask unanimous consent that both of these articles be entered into the record.
Without objection, thank you very much, Senator, for your comments on favorably reporting the nomination.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not completed.
I'm sorry. How much more time do you need?
5 to 10 minutes. As I said, I wanted to talk about Myrna Perez.
She has the nomination before the committee.
Yes, that's what I'm preparing to talk about right now.
I hope the senator will be mindful of the other senator's time when he uses his own.
Well, I am mindful of the other senators' time. I'm also mindful that this committee spends a ton of time on things like amnesty and not time on doing our jobs. So this committee doesn't have time to look into allegations of racism, doesn't have time to look into allegations of participating in Chinese communist propaganda, doesn't have time to look into the Biden administration releasing thousands of illegal aliens with COVID, but we have time to move political activists forward to satisfy the partisan interest of Democrats in the Senate. Let's talk about this judicial nominees.
After watching the full hearing, my biggest takeaway is that Ted Cruz was raising concerns about priorities and oversight. Ted Cruz wasn't just criticizing the nominee. Ted Cruz was questioning the committee itself. Why, according to Ted Cruz, does Congress spend so much time on certain political issues while other serious concerns receive little attention? Throughout his remarks, Ted Cruz pointed to allegations involving racism, concerns about Chinese Communist Party influence, and immigration policies under the Biden administration. The larger point Ted Cruz seemed to be making was simple. If Congress is serious about oversight, then every concern deserves scrutiny, not just the ones that fit a political narrative. What struck me most was the clash between process and accountability. The committee leadership wanted to keep things moving. That's understandable. Hearings have schedules and time limits. But Ted Cruz was arguing that speed should never come before scrutiny, especially when it comes to a lifetime judicial appointment. And honestly, I think that's a reasonable position. Federal judges can shape laws and legal decisions for decades. These are not appointments that should be rushed through without hard questions being asked. Another thing that stood out was Ted Cruz's frustration with what he sees as double standards in Washington. Right or wrong, many Americans share the concern that political institutions often apply different standards depending on who is involved. When people start believing that some individuals get tougher scrutiny than others, trust in government suffers. That's why moments like this resonate with so many viewers. Of course, critics will argue that Ted Cruz was turning the hearing into a political fight and moving away from the nominee herself. That's a fair point to consider. But supporters of Ted Cruz would say that confirmation hearings are exactly where concerns should be raised. If senators have questions about a nominee's record or associations, this is the time to ask them. What made this exchange memorable was how direct Ted Cruz was. There was no attempt to soften the criticism. Ted Cruz openly challenged the committee's priorities and questioned whether it was doing its job thoroughly. Whether you agree with every point Ted Cruz made or not, it's hard to deny that Ted Cruz was pushing for a deeper conversation rather than a quick vote. For me, that's what this hearing was really about. Accountability, oversight, and making sure powerful positions are not treated as routine approvals. But that's my take. What do you think? Was Ted Cruz asking the questions that needed to be asked, or was this just another political showdown in Washington? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others. Thanks for watching America Wake. I'm Wilson, and I'll see you in the next one.